Hello, hello, everybody. Haven't been on in a while. I find this camera setup to be not as good as the lives on Facebook. So they're just a little bit blurry, but we'll see if that light is a little bit better. Anyway, just wanted to touch base. I haven't been live in a little while here. There's a lot going on, of course. I know everyone else is feeling it. So a lot of deep energies, wild energies going on around us. And there's some very intense inner work going on. So depending on where you're at with your journey and how willing you are to kind of look at your shadows, look at your wounding from childhood, and really go deep, especially in terms of your relationships with others, and your faults and your strengths, etc., and really kind of understanding yourself better and better and better. That is a lot of the energy that we have been going through. And for some, it might be kind of surface level, depending on how deep you're willing to delve here, in terms of going within and seeing your own kind of dark shadows, projections, how you project onto others, what others project onto you, and how you have just accepted certain parts of your story and are moving forward with them. But really now you're choosing to move forward, probably either as a victim or as a kind of hero in your own right. And now we're trying to bring it back into the balance of the middle. So we're not a victim, we're not a hero, and collapsing those old stories and timelines that we have brought forward with us as adults, and trying to just kind of dissolve and dismantle them as we go here, because we can be better people. We can be in relationship better, and we can also have stronger boundaries and use better discernment in terms of who we trust and allow ourselves to spend time with. So a lot going on, and we are also moving into Mercury retrograde here. And it's been a pretty potent one, because you've probably been feeling it for the past, couple weeks even, maybe. So hold on, stay true to yourself. Remember to breathe, remember to meditate, and find ways to clear your energy, because there's, like I said, a lot of purging going on, and that's from your entire lifetime. It's a lot of energy to purge and deal with. So depending on how deep your emotions go, that's how deep you're going to have to reach to bring up the energetic level again, so that you can dream again, so that you can move forward again, trust again, and start to really kind of move forward in this new life that you have, that's not built on an old story. It's built on a new version of yourself, of the lessons and experiences you've had, but also not really tying yourself down to them. So there's a new sense and level of freedom attached to this new level, this initiation that we've just gone through. So I'm going to start with the Fairy Oracle by Doreen Virtue, and then going into the Work Your Light Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. And then I've also got the Life Purpose Oracle by Doreen Virtue. And then I'll go into the Oracle of the Shapeshifters, Sacred Rebels, and the Isis cards, because I really wanted this message to come through as an empowerment message, and energies that we can utilize to move forward, no matter how hurt we've been in the past, and no matter where we currently are at materially and or spiritually, really focusing on our achievements so far, our victories so far, and allowing the universe to come forward for us, and to be actively willing to take those opportunities when they are granted to us. So let's get the energies of the past here. We've got the Summer card. So everything that you're asking for becomes yours in the summertime. So not too far away here is what I'm kind of seeing for this one. It's, we're all, I think it's kind of indicating too, we're all wondering, when is the good stuff coming? When, are, the harvest, the fruits of our labor coming through, because many of us have gone through kind of a gauntlet or really, really tough time. And so, the fairies are just saying everything that you're asking for is coming. Continue to maintain patience, and continue to focus on your gifts and your strengths while you are kind of waiting for the next move, and that can be internal or external. We're not really waiting for something per se to happen, but we are taking small action steps as we move along here. So the clarifier for that one is inner temple, devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. So it's really important right now, of course, to stay connected to your heart, because those that are just in the mind, or those are, avoiding feelings or avoiding pain, it all catches up with you at some point. You can only do that for so long before it starts to manifest in the body, and it will manifest in relationships in ways that you don't intend, and that don't actually serve you. So that which you truly desire, you won't really receive if you're blocking yourself. So it's kind of asking yourself to soften up a little bit. You can use practices that protect your energy from those who aren't really here for your highest and best, or those who might want to take advantage of you. You can protect your energy. You can clear with sage, you can use obsidian, you can look up crystal medicine, etc. But I think those of you who are watching this, you already know this. So it's a level up in terms of protecting your energy, and what that means is clearing your energy. So taking responsibility for that energy that you are putting out, but also that you've allowed into your field. So clearing out everything that has come into your field and that is still causing you discomfort, insecurity, or affecting your self-worth. So it's really time to purge that out, take control, take responsibility in ways that you can, because you can't change the past, you can't change another person's behavior towards you, their belief systems, etc. But you truly can impact the way you see the world and your perspective by healing yourself and taking responsibility for allowing yourself to move through that energy at the pace that works for you. So you don't have to push yourself, you don't have to re-trigger yourself or traumatize yourself going through this release. But if you tune into your heart, that is the bridge between you and the angelic realm, the universal realm, and Mother Earth. So there's this beautiful kind of heartbeat that is synchronized with us all as one, as a unit, as a community. And if we can focus in on that nourishment that is there at this point, in those times when you might feel lonely or insecure or afraid, not knowing what the future holds, tap into that heart space that connects you and nurtures you from Spirit and Mother Earth. So if there's nothing else, there's you and there's Spirit and there's Mother Earth. So you can focus on that connection at this time while we move forward and kind of try to recultivate some of those dreams, because they've been shifted and moved around. So this one says, talk to your angels. And that one, no surprise that it's come up just after that inner temple devotion, tune into your heart. It's asking us to really pay attention to what the truth of our heart is right now. What is the truth? Stripping away the illusions of this world, stripping away the illusions of fear, the illusions of having to accumulate material wealth, the illusions of having to penalize and take advantage of others to get what we want, or competition energy, just really focusing on the fact that, we can do this together. We're never alone, even if we want to be. We've always got assistance in the divine realms, whether we feel it or not at times. And this one says, instead of worrying, ask for divine guidance. So there's a lot of fear energy happening in the world right now. And there's a lot of fear energy happening in our own timelines. For myself, I know I've had huge upgrades and a lot of confusion, a lot of struggle and strife in terms of being in my own mind too much, wanting to know all the answers, wanting to know why, having things kind of fractured and segmented out of my old belief systems, and really taking everything down and putting things together again. So that's a lot of work, especially if you're doing most of it in the mind. So that's why they're saying, continue to connect with that heart space and continue to talk to your angels. And also, this being in the past position, it also means that, your wishes have been heard. What you've asked for has been heard. continue to tune in, and they're acknowledging that you have been tuning into your heart. And there may be a lot of grief there, so just continue to work through it. And then with talking to your angels, they are saying, basically, as in the past position, that they've heard you, your communications to them, and you will receive validation of this if you're paying attention. But continue to talk to them, continue to talk to your team, because they are listening, and they don't want us to be hating on other people. They don't want us to be stuck in revenge energy or rage energy, because there's been a lot of collective rage, a lot of rage from the purging that's been coming up, a lot of rage at the injustice in the world. And so we want to leave that rage for Mother Earth to transmute and kind of move into fertilizer, so to speak, because the earth is made to kind of accept these burdens more so than our bodies, because our bodies can only handle so much. And if you're a starseed or an angelic, you have a lot of power. However, your power is best used when you are a clear channel. And so if you're taking things on from everyone, or if you have situations in your past where there's been barbs left in you or thorns, and you're trying to clear that out, well, you're not as able as you might have been in the past to clear those as quickly. You will be coming up. You'll be able to, it'll be like boom, boom, boom. But right now we're in that gestation state. We're still kind of just getting ready to emerge with our new talents and abilities. So let's see what we've got in the present position. This is funny. So we've got summer and then spring. Your desires fully manifest as the flowers begin to bloom. So we have kind of a double. Everything you're asking for becomes yours in the summertime, and your desires fully manifest as the flowers begin to bloom. So we have this energy of truly, truly coming out of the ice, the winter, the cold, coming back into the warmth, the nurturing, color where it's been just black and dark and gloomy. And now we're coming into color and blooming and blossoming, and the seedlings, and the transformation, the metamorphosis will be visible, because it hasn't been visible as we've gone through this winter energy. So let's see what we have in clarifying for that. Fill up your well, retreat, rest, and refuel. Yes, so this is so important here. We continually have this message of resting and refueling, because those of you who are empaths and givers, those of you who have been taking care of other people, you have been taken advantage of in your life, you are learning to enforce boundaries. You're learning to be more flexible. You're truly learning that your gift, as well as just being, clairvoyant or clairaudient and having that sixth sense or seventh or eighth or ninth, you're learning that that connection is even more powerful and important than before, because it truly, truly is co-creation. So we're moving into a time now where those gifts aren't just something you share with the world. They're not just something you're sharing with others, like on YouTube or your friends or family, and you're doing it for remuneration, which is fantastic. However, there's something more to this level that's coming up here. Filling up your well is very important, because the level at which you're communicating with Spirit, communicating with Mother Gaia, it's moving into that energy of being of a service more and more. So you are going to receive all that you desire from being of service, but your motivation is moving more from I, me, my, like what I want, to my abilities to serve because of the gifts I've been bestowed and because of the work that I've done. But the realization should have come now that you did not do this on your own. So there has been help every step of the way. And so it's not just you. The burdens don't just fall on your shoulders. And this should be, a welcome realization that it's not just your path, your destiny, journey, purpose. There's this whole group of people working with you, including your past loved ones, including those who have passed over. There's this crew, this tribe that wants the best for you and are helping you move and helping you align with your greatest purpose here and continue to manifest and expand, because we hit this kind of roadblock in the past couple months. So I'd say 6 months for most people, where your inner world has totally transformed, because you may have had your outer world transform too, not for everybody, but most of us will have had a huge shift in the outer world. And that has really sent us into a new space of, kind of time and energy. And this is where spirit needs us to be, so that we can kind of relinquish the old and get ready to accept our new responsibilities moving forward in the future. So continue to fill up your well. You're still probably going to be very tired. Your body might be, asking for more than usual, whether it's not to eat as much food, whether to reduce meat, whether to drink more water, get more exercise. That's a big one that I've been hearing. Simply to move that energy, the mental energy, and not just let it kind of manifest in your body. So actively moving that energy out of the body as well. And we have you are protected. So there's this beautiful energy of protection, which has been coming up a lot as well in other readings and general messages. So you are safe and supported while you change your career. So this one's very interesting. We have a lot of career moves and changes because we're starting to not believe fear when we hear it. So we're starting to take those risks and take those action steps where we might not know the answer. We might not know what comes after it, but we know we have to make this move. And so, if you've been thinking about quitting your job for eons and all you do is complain about it, it's time to actually make the move and cut the cord and take responsibility for your power and saying, no, I'm not going to do this anymore, and making the plans and action steps to move to another career position, etc. Or if you've been in a place that you feel small, you don't feel like you're expanding or growing, it's your responsibility to move to another location. So a lot of us are going through these huge, huge changes and life challenges, but they're really asking us to step into our power more and more. So you are protected as you move through these changes, and there are angels kind of helping you navigate at this time. So future position, we've got everything is okay. So don't worry, it's all working out in a beautiful way. This one is one of my favorite cards because when there's so much fear energy going on around us, when there's so much inner change going on, and we're really kind of just focused on ourselves and getting by and maintaining that cup, fueling ourselves in healthy ways, not turning to addictions, not turning to, instant gratification, really taking in what we've learned along the way and going, okay, I'm going to still stand in my integrity, my loyalty, my honor, and I'm also going to take care of myself first. I'm going to protect myself by clearing my energies. And if you find that you're in obsessive thinking or you've got really stuck in your mind due to something that's happened or a situation or energy, the energy of this card, you can just kind of see she's got the heart chakra lit up, illuminated, and she's going, stop. So if you find you're spinning out, if it's mental, if it's drugs, alcohol, addictions, whatever it is, that's a different kind of level to this energy. And I'm not going to be talking about that because this isn't that type of reading here. But if you have the power, if you have that self-control, stop struggling, take a breath, come home to yourself, take up this space that is you. So take up the space in your body. So every space, tap into, whether it's your ears, your eyes, your throat area, just take up the space. So really feel being in your body at this time. Come home to yourself and understand that connection, as I was saying before, to the angelic realm and to Mother Earth. Once you're at home in yourself, you can kind of do visualizations connecting into that nurturing energy, into that kind of nutrients and abundance that is there, bringing it back in, filling up your chakras from the inside out, knowing that you do have that ability to heal yourself and to stop the spinning. So stop the spin cycle. And like I said, come back to the breath, come back to clearing your energies. And that hate or worry when we're projecting outside of ourselves, that is totally natural because we're healing right now. We are healing big time. And that's part of this card, Fill Up Your Well. We are being kind of regenerated from victimization, from all the stories of our past, whatever it may be for you, the child of an alcoholic, maybe you were abused. There's all of these childhood stories, or one of your parents was a narcissist. You didn't get the nurturing you needed. You were poor, and now you can't see yourself ever not having money. So you strive and you are a perfectionist when it comes to financial wealth around you. And it all comes down to imbalance, and it comes down to taking on things that weren't ours to take on in the first place. So we've been purging. And so it's okay if you found yourself off balance. So the thing to do now is bring yourself back into balance and stop worrying. And that worry energy, I'm not going to go into. You're going to pull worry in, you're going to pull negative situations in, because I'm kind of done with that at this point. Yes, of course, if you're looking at the world in a negative view and you're complaining and you see yourself as a perpetual victim, things probably aren't going to go fantastic for you. People aren't going to want to necessarily be around you. You might create issues because of your response to them. But whoever's watching this, I believe we've come to a point where we understand the energies of attraction. We understand that what we put out does actually have an effect and a responsive energy. So getting out of that energy of worry, it's not having fear about, something else coming to us or what we're going to be attracting. It's really about where we're at. So if we're in fear and worry, we're creating anxiety in our body. We're creating disease for ourselves. And instead of kind of moving away from those energies in which are provoking us, it could be a person. Like I said, it could be a situation, could be work, could be a geographical location. It's our responsibility to pull ourselves away from those energies at this point, because when you move away from something that hurts you, you have a better capability to heal yourself because you don't have a perpetual rewounding happening. So if you can move yourself away from that energy and kind of give yourself a moment to breathe and see things more clearly, the dust will kind of settle out, and hopefully you'll begin to see some small action steps you can take to get a plan for yourself to move yourself out of these energies. So don't worry, it's all working out in a beautiful way. If you've lost, just a side note, if you've lost faith, if you've lost trust because of the level of hurt or grief that you've experienced in the last couple months, because for some it really has been pivotal, it's been huge, life-altering, changing. If that's you, then do the smallest, tiniest little action steps. It might be looking at the stars. It might be remembering, okay, once I looked at the stars and I saw magic, or felt this communication, or I used to go on my walks and I'd look at flowers or I'd see little buds and that brought me joy. It's coming back to the smallest, tiniest little pieces of pleasure that you can get that aren't, attached to physical gratification, but the little pieces of joy and pleasure you can find in daily life that can kind of bring you back to that innocence that you once held, or that viewpoint you had on the world. Because what's happening too with this purging and filling up of the well, it is a void point, a zero course. There is this place where we're like, nothing matters anymore. Everything I knew doesn't really matter because it's all changed. It's all different. I've learned new things now and I see the world differently and I'm not really sure how I feel about it. A lot of you might actually be feeling that way. And so don't get too stuck in that. If you have to touch down on it, fine, because we each have our own personal dialogue with the universe or ourselves or our family or people who hurt us. just do the absolute best you can to find the little pleasures in life, because sooner or later, we're going to have some momentum and energy behind us, backing us, moving us into more graceful energy for us. It might not look like that on the outside, but for us on the inside, because we're working on how to clear, we're working on how to be more discerning, we're working on how to enforce those boundaries. For us, it's going to be different because we are different inside. We're different in how we view the world. And so that is how this change is going to be affected. It's not really what's happening outside of us, although that will follow, of course. What they're saying here is in spring and summer are going to be huge for us actually visually seeing the efforts come back to us. So the harvest, the abundance, that'll be new jobs, new partnerships, new homes, these things that are meant for us. So we have, whoa, just talking about that, that's crazy. So this is the first time I've ever actually pulled this card, which is big. So it's unbound. And as you can see, there's these kind of shadow figures floating. And it says releasing the soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. So this one I will touch base on just briefly. So the fact that this is in the future position is a little bit curious for me. However, I'm just going to say it as I recognize it. We have met some very important people in our lives up until this point, no matter where you are. You've had contracts with many different people, lessons, lovers, teachers, friendships, all of the above. Now, there's this certain energy that comes with sovereignty, freedom, free will, and choice. When you realize that you're co-creating with the universe, when you realize it's not just the universe kind of puppeting you around, it is and it isn't. But you have the energy and the choice to actively co-create with that. So you can struggle, you can go with the flow, you can go, okay, I see you're wanting to bring something better for me, so I'm going to lean into it. Or you can resist and fight and struggle. We have had some very important people in our lives who you probably felt an instant connection with, who may or may not have hurt you terribly. You either have it go one or two ways. That person you trust, and that trust is kind of held sacred, and that instant soul connection that you have because you've known this person through many lifetimes in your past will actually help you have momentum in this lifetime. Or it goes the other way, where this person is the only person that could help you learn a very powerful lesson. And so you wouldn't really willy-nilly let someone else in, but because you know this person's soul, you do let them in, and it's planned like that. I call it the bait and switch. So some of our most important lessons we learned that hurt us the most are actually with, those soulmate, soul pattern contracts, past life relationships. So you may have had that in the past, and this in the future position suggests that we're going to have some closure coming up, and or we're going to actually be able to see what happened more clearly than where we are now in this kind of, we're still in that dark state. We're still in that confusion state. So you might be able to see it clearly. You might be able to understand it from a bigger perspective instead of your me, my world. This happened to me. This person was this. It's going to be from the bigger, okay, this had to happen for the greater whole, for the highest purpose of all, because this, right? You're going to, it's going to dawn on you because you have a higher level of intuition now than you did before, and or it will be bestowed very shortly. So this unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives, it's literally like this insane sense of freedom that you're going to feel coming out of all of this trauma, all of this purging, all of this releasing. And I also see this kind of as a full moon energy. So I think we're coming up to the new moon here. And so another cycle will bring us to this energy of seeing clearly, of having that actual relief, that release of energy that we've been working for quite some time. So unbound, actually taking off the shackles, taking off those belief systems, patterns, and really getting ourselves out of situations that we don't want to be in, or rectifying situations that we created, not for any purpose other than to clear the energy, clear that contract out. So because Mercury retrograde is coming up, I wouldn't be surprised if there are people tying up loose ends in your life. So if you can go into it with an open mind, and the more clearing that you've done, the less reactive you'll be when that happens. If it does, it might not, because it might be the best for everyone not to have that. So it really will depend on, what the highest is for everyone. And this one says Oracle card. So that's clarifying. Don't worry, unbound, and Oracle cards. You are able to discern answers and guidance for yourself and others. So this one also indicates that those of you who are watching now or catching the replay, you also have this kind of request to begin using your gifts to assist others. So using the grief, using the pain, using the lessons, the hardships, the successes, the victories, using what you've learned. So transmuting, alchemizing, situations that didn't go your way into healing energy for others. So, there's so much energy that comes in not feeling alone, or like it's just you that has gone through an experience, because realistically, many of us have gone through very difficult and challenging times, whether it's been recent or in the past. And it's taken something different for each of us to actually go through those experiences. And so if you can utilize that information and that wisdom that you've gained to help others, that's going to be really important coming up in the future here. So very powerful energy that we have already been going through, but it is suggesting that we're still releasing, we're still cutting cords, we're still releasing old contracts, and we're kind of whipping up some new ones. And that's why you may have been dreaming about spiders. You may have see spider energy, spider woman energy, because there's a weaving right now, the weaving of the new from the old, but it's not of the old. It's something different. It's something using more structure, more balance, more strong foundations. So very, very powerful energies coming up here. So let's get a look. Let's see. I was kind of waiting to gauge which cards I would pull here. So I'm going to pull some cards from the Sacred Rebel guidebook, and these are so beautiful. Alana Fairchild has done this deck, and Autumn Sky Morrison is the artist, and she is Canadian. I'm also Canadian, and she is just an amazing artist. So if you've never taken a look at her work, you'll see them on the cards here, but I would recommend doing a little further exploration. So here we go. And feel free, if you haven't already, to subscribe. I'm just building up this channel. I usually do my lives on Facebook, and I have been doing so for quite some time. So it's a little different for me to go onto YouTube, but this is where I feel I want to move my energy to. So like, subscribe, and share if you like. So here we go. We've got the past energies. Softly, softly, the tender touch. And she has this beautiful kind of halo and sacred geometry around her. We've got that energy around the throat chakra as well. And we've got the soft, soft tears coming from her. So it's a number 2020, softly, softly, the tender touch. This one is all about learning how to really embrace the feminine energies. So we're learning, instead of pushing and forcing our way into things and not taking the time to really, sorry, I just hit a button by accident. So not taking the time to assess a situation, or, being relaxed about something and going, okay, what is good and what is valuable and what is worth it might take time. So instead of doing that, in the past, many of us would just kind of force our way, push our way, take action steps kind of with the backing of the energy of perfectionism and needing to win or needing to be right. And maybe taking shortcuts, maybe not listening to our partners as much as we could, or not listening to ourselves, not taking time we need, etc. So by not putting ourselves first, we might have ended up with a whole layer of entanglement that we had to kind of extract ourselves from to get a better perspective and look at things differently. Now, a lot of this has been divinely orchestrated and part of, the divine detour to put us in more alignment with our path, but we couldn't have gotten there without these situations. That's how I see it anyways. But what this energy is really truly inviting is for us to invite rather than to force. So instead of taking what's mine and kind of bulldozing through situations or going, okay, I'm going to make this fit exactly how I perceived it, even if there's something off. I'm just going to kind of like put that off to the side and I'm going to make it fit. Instead of doing that, it's like, okay, I'm going to invite this energy into my life. I'm going to create the space. I'm going to clear my energies. I'm going to make sure that I'm available. I'm ready. That my heart is open. I'm vulnerable, I'm not blocked. And then I'm going to invite the opportunities to me. And whilst I am inviting those opportunities to me, I'm actually going to be ready to say yes. I'm going to be ready to take the action. So you're cultivating, but you're cultivating from a receptive energy instead of a forceful energy. So we're kind of moving away from like the wounded masculine energy, into a healed feminine energy, which we haven't worked with for a little while either, which is really neat. So coming up in the present position, we have against the grain. This is just reminding us that, some of us who go through these deep, deep challenges and changes, we're different than others. The psychedelic sheep, the black sheep, where it's not just of your family, it's of the universe, because you're different. You're made differently for a strategic purpose. And you might have been questioning, why did you make me this way? Why? I'm too sensitive, or I only get hurt, or why doesn't anything work out? There is something about you that is coming to the surface, that is growing, that is being kind of tenderly nurtured out of the darkness into the light coming up here, spring and summer. And it's going to make a huge impact and difference not only in your personal life, but it's going to make a huge impact for others around you. Something about you is coming to the surface, and it had to go through this in the dark. It had to go through this feeling alone or in your shadows. The ugliest parts of you, you needed to see those. You needed to understand how you can hurt people and how you can hurt yourself. To go through this next stage where you can actually be of service, where you can actually not withhold, where you can actually be open, you can trust, you can move forward again, and you can build on a really solid foundation moving forward. So continuing to go for your dreams, just in a different, more receptive way. And so against the grain really reminds us that you might believe different things than others. You might think things are possible that others are going to go, no, that's not possible. Stick to your truth here. We don't want to live in a fantastical world where we're not based in reality at all. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that you were kind of built as you are for a reason. You have special qualities in seeing things in the world that others don't see. And so that can be part of your intuitive nature. And don't relinquish that so rapidly because things didn't go your way or you've been hurt. Don't relinquish that so quickly, because that is actually going to be very powerful for you moving forward here. And I'm saying these things because I've experienced them as well. I have gone through a very dark period. As I have gone through these in the past as well, but this one in particular made me question many, many things in my belief system. And I do believe that that's happening for quite a few people who resonate as starseed, angelic, whatever you want to call it. They're just labels. But it is a person with a high intuition, a person who is very sensitive to energies here, and a person who, naturally has this act of service within them, but also naturally has trust, loyalty, and integrity. Those things are what you abide by in life, and you rarely stray from that energy. And so you can also be kind of susceptible to people who aren't kind of practicing at that level. So go against the grain. It's okay to go against the grain. It's okay to not want to get married. It's okay not to want a house. It's okay to go traveling. It's okay to look different than other people want you to look. It's okay to not people please. It's okay to, treat people with respect, of course, honor your commitments in terms of what you know is right for you. Be kind, be compassionate, be nurturing. Learn how to separate from someone in a compassionate way if that's what you need to do. This isn't just about, cut and run. That's not what I'm advocating here. But I am advocating take care of yourself and honor that which is within you that's different than in other people, and honor that desire for yourself, whatever your dreams may be, even if they look different. So if you don't want to get married, but you want a companion, that's great. Speak that truth, honor that path that's against the grain. You don't need the car, the home, the family. Maybe you don't want kids. Be honest. Just be honest, be authentic to yourself, and be truthful to those who love you. And will listen to you, and remove yourself from those relationships where, someone isn't going to listen to you, or they're not being truthful with you. It's important now to clear those relationships from your path. So let's see what we have in the future. What you want wants you. This is a fantastic, beautiful one. Kind of indicates the spiral. And what I see here in her as well is this surrender, right? So she knows what she wants. She's got it in her heart. It might be a business. You might want to move up in your career. You might feel like you've been playing small a little bit, and finally you're like, I'm ready to bust out of this place. So for many of us, what you want wants you. And that's this whole energy of softly, softly, the tender touch, inviting in. So it's like understanding that it's already there for us. It's just taking down the shields and the armor, taking down the desire for self-sabotage, so pushing people away, who love us or want the best for us, or, self-sabotaging by self-neglecting. Could be addictions. I covered that a little bit at the beginning. So taking care of yourself, balancing within yourself, nourishing yourself, finding ways to look to yourself for support and guidance. And this came up too in another reading, and I'll just share. I can't remember what reader it was, but I think it was a shamanic oracle. And she was saying sometimes in life, we need to just be with our own energy. So, in the past couple months, you may not have felt the desire to be around too many people, and that is totally okay. But this is indicating that in the future, you're going to be a little bit more willing to invite people in, and not preemptively, because sometimes you'll just do a knee-jerk reaction and want to invite people in because you feel lonely, or you don't think you can take care of yourself, or you have, wounds and traumas from childhood where you don't feel like you're actually capable of being alone. And for those things, I would suggest therapy and or energy work to help you through those things. But there is this energy of being okay to be alone, even if it's just for a short while. Be okay with cultivating a stronger relationship with your team, your tribe, whether that's with spirit, angels, guides, animals, whatever it is for you that your energy connects with. But what you want wants you, so you don't need to struggle for it. So coming up in the future here, there's this energy of, okay, I'm going to surrender to what wants me. I'm going to surrender to that because it's what I want too. So even if that's a new person coming into your life, or as I mentioned, job, location, there's going to be a lot of changes coming up. Know that you don't have to struggle for it. If it feels difficult, if it feels really, really hard, surrender it. Talk to your peeps. So that was another one. Talk to your angels that we had before. Glean some information from oracle cards or someone you trust, or whatever it is that you do. You might talk directly to your team. So if you need that help, look to yourself first and foremost. And then if you need to kind of look outside yourself, but with trusted resources there, and really positive, amazing messages. It's still unfolding. And that one goes to the number 7, which is huge spiritual lessons here. So I'm going to pull one more card because I feel like I'm probably going to do a reading on Facebook as well, just because, I feel like many of my clients are still used to going over there and seeing me over there. So I feel like it might take a little while to move over to this platform. So this is a time of shape-shifting and transformation. It's a time where we need to be aware of our energies. Things aren't always good all the time. You do need to protect yourselves from people who would take advantage of you, and be discerning and see through BS. Well, let's see what energy of transformation we're in at this time, because we're just heading into Mercury retrograde. So there's going to be some shadows. And I'm not an astrologer, but I do follow a lot of astrology. And I do remember them saying energy about Pisces, in a time where we just wanted that clarity. It's going to be kind of muddled. So focus on the clarity within you instead of necessarily looking outside for clarity. And I think that'll be a little bit of a saving grace here. So this one is Snow White and her animal friends. You inspire trust and confidence. And this one resonates to the number 9. So we have endings, of course, and into new beginnings. So this one here, I'm going to read a little bit from it, but essentially, there are people who are naturally gifted and naturally have this innocence about them. And if you're one of those people, then you know that to be true. And if you're one of those people who need work and coming back to that space, then that's something for you to acknowledge as well. But this Snow White and her animal friends is talking about a person who is really, pure of heart, loyal. You have become the protector. You are a caretaker with a covenant for the vulnerable ones. You will now make choices that will inspire others to interact with smaller animals, children, and vulnerable ones in gentle, caring ways. You have shown yourself to be trustworthy, and so the magical creatures, the shapeshifters and their friends, now come to you. Rabbits are sacred to many witches, and the connection dates back to ancient times when the hare was associated with 2 great goddesses, Astera and Andraste. Like these female deities, you're a protector. You have valor, courage, and fierce power, and you are one who will protect your people and other creatures. Because these gentle ones trust you and have found safe haven with you, the hare, but I guess within anyway. The hare shows it's time for fertility, new growth, procreation, and haste, fleet and wild. Hares are able to escape from harm by burrowing deep into the body of the mother goddess herself. The deer shows that you are on your way to enlightenment through these gentle acts, and this purity of intent will have a ripple effect on the world around you. So if you've got stuck in how other people treated you, don't. Because you held strong to your integrity, you loved, and or whatever message applies to you. But focus on you right now. Focus on what you can do to bring more love towards yourself. So it says, you are loved and trusted. Even the small ones of the forest gather with you after times of great unrest. So another, yes, it's been a time of great unrest is what Spirit is saying. When they feel they cannot find another trustworthy human to be with, you have the energy of the gentle ones, and thus the small ones, the vulnerable ones like us, come to you, not to take, but to show you how trusted you are. And so that's another kind of reminder here. If you're a sensitive and you're a giver and your boundaries, haven't been that strong, but you're working on them, good for you, because you probably got taken advantage of in a very hurtful and painful way. And you're now recovering from that and moving forward. And so it's important not to have those huge, massive boundary, that fortress come back up. No, you have more courage than that You're not going to let somebody's fear of love, somebody's, fears of the world, move you into a space where you're afraid too. So give back that energy to whoever gifted it to you, whoever you accepted it from when you didn't know better. Give that back, or give it to the earth, the Mother Gaia, for transformation and healing. And so you can work on opening your heart again and not allowing that fear energy and that worry energy or revenge or rage to bring you down. That can exist, of course, which I mentioned earlier in the reading. But it does sound like there's a certain level of trust that you've earned with the universe, with the vulnerable ones. So it says, it is not a burden, it is a great honor. Rarely do we show ourselves, but to you, we come and lay our heads in your lap. There is such an air about you. You are a safe, good person. So, and I was thinking about this before too. It is your responsibility to put up boundaries, but sometimes people lie and deceive. And so that's not your energy to be accountable for. That's the other person's energy to be accountable for. So if you've been the recipient of someone's lying, deceit, betrayal, that kind of energy, truly, if you maintained your integrity, your loyalty, your love, if you were in a space of this kind of innocent energy that this card is talking about, and you still got hurt or taken advantage of, it's not your energy to process that someone else took advantage of you. It's your energy to acknowledge that that happened and move forward, and protect yourself a little better next time, kind of vet people a bit better. But sometimes, as I said earlier as well, these situations are kind of divinely guided. It's a bait and switch to help move us into more self-love, self-worth, self-esteem, self-empowerment. And it can be very troubling, but we can move forward with this kind of honor. Okay, so there's an honor about being vulnerable, about loving, about having that unconditional energy about you, about having boundaries so others know where you are, and being kind of standing your ground with boundaries so others aren't enabled to take advantage. There's this beautiful energy about being that good person. So kudos to you if that is you, or the energy that you would like to embody a little bit more. So divination, it says, is it time for you to step up and protect others who are smaller and more fragile than you? This may be a reversal in roles for you, but the deer in the hare and the quiet, soft ones have chosen you because they trust that you can do this job. You may feel an unlikely hero, and you may experience a completely unforeseen victory, but you can do it. You must take great steps now to live up to the honor and trust. It will be simple for you while you remain in the forest, but when you venture out into the world once again, will you make choices that support your animal friends? And I think this is also kind of talking about, we've been in the dark, in this energy of the womb, or the energy of the void, where you can't see everything. We don't know what's coming up next. And so what's going to happen when you are kind of released out into the world again? The seedling sprouts up through the earth, and the sun is out and nourishing you. What are you going to do once you come out of this learning stage, this gestation stage, this fill up your well, rest, refuel stage? What are going to be your priorities here? So make a commitment to protect animals by supporting wildlife, choosing cruelty-free products, and raising awareness of animal rights within your school and family. Something you wish for will be given up for now so you can do something for the good of others. But your energy will change as a result, and this will bring to you your deepest dreams and desires, purified and at the perfect time. It's also another recognition that in this game of life, when you're initiating, when you're leveling up, when you've said, okay, I'm here to help, the universe doesn't turn a blind eye to that. It's like, okay, we're going to use you, but you're going to need to sacrifice something. And so a lot of us have gone through that sacrifice energy where, something we love dearly or that we thought was the best for us was kind of reduced or taken away in kind of that tower energy. And now we're going, okay, now there's this whole new landscape that we can look to, and there's a field of possibility and potential that we have to create something from. So a lot of powerful energies, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. And I look forward to cultivating a little bit more of a tribe energy on YouTube, because I love to interact with people and get feedback and ideas and connect on channeling energy as well, where I do some channeling in most of my videos. So for now, there's still this energy of keeping some things to yourself, not sharing, too much with people, but still connecting to make sure that we're all doing okay and doing our best to provide support and wisdom where we have received support and wisdom in the past. So we're all sharing as equals at this point, moving more and more into that energy of equals. So thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, if you enjoyed this video and you want to come back and tune in again, hit the subscribe button, like or share, and we will catch up with you next time. So of course, I'm Molly, and thanks for tuning in. Love ya. Bye. Ciao for now.